Hi, I'm Dr. Linda Mintle. Hey, thanks for listening to the Dr. Linda Mintle Show. Faith radio podcasts are only possible because of your support. Thanks for giving and for sharing with a friend.
Doing life together, reaching out with hope, encouraging one another, each step along the road. You and I can make everything a little better, doing life together.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Linda Mintle Show. I'm your host, Dr. Linda Mintle, the relationship doctor, and I'm here along with my co-host, the other Dr. Mintle, my husband, Norm. And every weekend we're here, we're doing life together, and as always, we're just really glad you joined us.
Okay, do you know what your IQ is?
I do not.
Did you? I don't know if we ever knew that. We
I don't
took tests
think
back when we were
ever
younger,
had
but
I don't think we ever had to have that test done.
no, it just seems like someone told me once I was 180 or something.
In your dreams. That was a dream, Norm.
Yeah, that was a dream. So what if I told you that there are some life skills that are better predictors of success than IQ?
Ah,
I mean, being smart's nice, it's good, but there's a whole lot more to navigating life than just being smart.
yeah, you're right. Your IQ, or what is known as your intelligence quotient, right? It's just the general estimate of really how smart you are. And it's calculated based on comparisons to people in your age and your developmental stage and that type of thing. But a lot of your IQ is inherited.
Really?
Yeah, they think about 70% of it. And you can't, it's a little bit, I don't want to say it's just fixed because you can really influence it, especially when kids are very young and there's a lot of exposure to verbal and activities and things.
Reading
Which is why we
exploring.
did a lot
Sure,
of that
right.
with our kids when they were younger. But it's relatively fixed. At least you're not going to go from, a low to just a high.
Right.
You're not going to become a mensis based on what mensa is it mensis?
Mensa.
Mensa.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't saying that right. So you're not going to become that just by, reading a bunch of books or that type of thing. But it is something that, that can be there, but your life skills can really improve how well and how successful you are in life.
Well, it's interesting, that phrase life skills. Business people have that in their literature. They also call it soft skills.
Ah,
They're less tangible characteristics, and that's what they're looking for when they're hiring people.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. They want to know how smart you are, but they also want to know, can you do the job? Now let's ask these other interpersonal skills that help. Do you communicate well? Do you have empathy? Do you work well in teams? Are you creative and you think outside the box? Do you do things independently when you're needed? All of that makes a better employee, and I think it probably makes better relationships.
we're hearing a lot about this with Gen Z, and we're hearing a lot about it because of COVID as well, where people were not interacting with others on a regular basis.
Right. They were
And they're-
isolated.
Yeah.
Right.
And I hear a lot of employers say, we need people with good interpersonal skills, and we're just not seeing that. And we see that you and I you teach in a university and I teach in a medical school, and we're seeing a difference in that. I guess this would be the life skills.
Right. Those soft
that
skills.
We're talking
right.
about those soft skills.
You know
yeah.
where I see it the most?
Where?
In the drive-through at restaurants.
Really?
You order stuff and you get, what do you want?
Yeah.
People aren't, there's
They're just not
there's this-
engaging.
There's this lack
Customer
of warmth.
service,
And,
yeah. Yeah, I can see where this is. So part of what we're talking about is one of the skills, and it sort of encompasses a lot of what we're saying, but it is a particular skill. It's called your emotional intelligence.
EQ.
So it's called EQ. Yeah,
Right.
we actually did a show on
We
that
did.
because it's such a powerful thing, and this involves your ability to read emotions, be aware of your own emotions. We call that emotional literacy. So it's actually understanding your emotions, managing your emotions, staying composed in the middle of important stress. And wow, isn't that a good thing for business as well as your personal life?
You just lose effectiveness when you fly off the handle and you make tense situations worse. And relationships are impacted negatively by people with unmanaged emotions. So I get it. Developing high EQ is a really good life skill that predicts success even more than IQ. So can you do that? Can you develop it?
Oh, yeah. It's something that can be learned. It's something that can be improved. I actually did a research study on this and measured this pre and post after we taught specific skills. So one of the things that we taught was how to manage your emotions more effectively.
Okay.
So one of the things you can do is when you're really, really upset, it's very easy. Just stop, take a deep breath. And when you breathe deeply, it is incompatible to feeling the stress. So it actually calms you down. And you need to do that. So if you're really, really stressed and you feel like you're losing it, just deep breathe. Another thing you can do is just stop and pray. I've done that on several occasions where I am feeling so wound up. And I'll just stop, I'll pray. Self-control is one of the fruit of the Spirit. So, I ask God for that at the time.
Yeah, you combine those and you can deep breathe and pray.
And pray, right. You can breathe
Oh,
in
Lord.
the Spirit,
Yeah, that's
breathe
right.
out. I've heard people say that. And another thing you can do is if you're having what's called kind of an emotional hack, we call this an amygdala hijack.
Right.
Because the amygdala is the part of your brain that's the feeling part of your brain. If you're having that moment and you're just getting hijacked at the moment, the brain can be distracted. So you can just distract your brain by counting to 10 in Spanish or thinking of 5 cities that begin with the letter A. Do something. It takes your brain immediately out of that emotional state and will put it into that more calm thinking state. So that's an easy one. Gives you time to regain your composure.
Albuquerque, Amarillo.
You're thinking of the 5.
Yeah, you got me
Austin,
going. Austin.
Annapolis.
Oh, good. You need
Ann
one more.
Arbor.
Ann Arbor. There we go.
Go blue, right? Okay, here we go. All right, so another one is that emotionally intelligent people pay a lot of attention to the things that trigger them or cue them. And then they practice ahead of time, what am I going to do instead?
Oh, interesting.
So that I don't just react. So in other words, they're just very aware. That's what we call emotional literacy.
And it sure seems possible that having a higher EQ is going to help you go much further in life. Okay, our second life skill is to have discipline and focus. This is another skill set that predicts success better than IQ.
I know lots of people struggle with this.
Yep,
You know,
discipline and focus.
Yeah, and they're not used to discipline
Right.
because we like to do what we like to do, right?
That's right.
In one study, 27% of Americans said they lack willpower, which prevents them from making changes in their life. But when you stay focused and you stay on task, you're obviously going to be more successful with whatever it is that you're doing.
Right. And I think the connection here is that when you're focused, you focus on something that helps you be more disciplined about it, and you don't jump to quick decisions, hasty decisions. And if you don't do that, you probably make better decisions that are based on your emotional EQ.
Yeah, so think about how we a lot of times just make emotional decisions.
Boom,
And those
on the
don't-
spur of the moment.
those don't work out
Right.
well, right? And this begins early in life. There was a study that found that students who had self-control had higher grade point averages, self-esteem, and better relationships. So, wow, when you're focused, you can actually accomplish a lot more.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But as we said, Norm, I mean, this lack of focus is a real problem in the attention span of people today. Very short. We're used to quick bites of everything, right?
Right,
We don't
right.
want to focus on something that takes our time and really takes a discipline to read through it. So you can practice this. You can practice by trying to read a book, starting a task and just making yourself stay with it. When I have to grade a boatload of papers, I have to be very disciplined to do this because it's on a time crunch.
Right.
I actually am saying to myself, you can do one more. You can do one more. Stay with it. Just one more. Just one more. It's like a disciplined coach in my head that's going on.
Okay, here's a third life skill. And I know you'll be shocked when I admit that I struggle with this one at times. Having patience.
Oh,
I lose my patience, most especially with the really bad drivers in our town.
we did a show on road rage just for you. It's hard for me too, I will admit. And I think one reason is for us and other people, we're busy. We don't like to sit and wait in a long line. We don't want to sit in a doctor's office for 30 minutes past our
Right,
appointment
right.
time. I mean, most of us just don't like to be inconvenienced by other people and wait, because we want to get things done. But again, patience has been studied. It's been found to be a significant factor in exerting more effort towards a goal and accomplishing things. So if you can be patient for a goal, continue to work at it, you're going to be more successful.
Right. And of course, this one just happens to be included in the list of the fruit of the Spirit, which is the evidence of the Holy Spirit in our lives. We need to become more patient with ourselves and with others, according to Scripture. And it may help to realize how infinitely patient God is with us.
Yeah.
You know, Peter said, the Lord does not delay his promises, as some understand delaying, but he is patient with you, not wanting anyone to perish, but to come to repentance. He's conforming us into his image, and he's patient in the process.
Yeah, it's one of his characteristics, right? So we have to be intentional. Now, we all know the famous verse in Corinthians 13 that
Right.
love is patient.
Right.
So there it is.
Yep, love is kind. Here's number 4. Here's the life skill that might surprise absolutely no one.
What is that?
Time management.
Time management, yes. If you can't manage your time, you're going to be stressed, you're going to
In
be
trouble,
anxious, you're
right.
going to rush to get things done. It's going to make it hard to get things done. So our advice on this one, set alarms, notifications, make sure you get the time that you need to get things done.
Having schedules, sticking to them, that helps a lot, helps me. When I write things down, I have a list that helps me know what I'm going to do. Lots of people struggle in this area because they're so easily distracted. And then they lose time doing unimportant things like scrolling on social media comes to mind.
Huge.
It
That's
is.
huge. How many hours do people spend scrolling on their phone?
And playing games and doing other things.
Yeah.
So it's
Shopping.
a skill that predicts success if you can do it.
Yeah, that's great. This one's so interesting to me because we always feel better when we manage our time well.
And we
And yet
accomplish, right?
Yeah, and let we somehow let it get away. But I'm a big believer in to-do lists.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you write it down, you check it off, you do one thing at a time, there's some kind of a sense of accomplishment, and then you have time to relax and have
I
fun.
agree completely. My dad, I saw him all my life making to-do lists and
really?
sticking them in his front pocket.
Oh, is that what was in his pocket
Yep,
all the
he
time?
always had his to-do
I
list.
wondered what was in it. What was that kind of shirt he always wore in Honduras? What was that called?
Called a guayabera.
Yeah, and he always had a pocket in it. And I didn't know that's what was in
It
it.
was. All right, I'm going to exercise some time management.
Okay.
Take a break. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
We'll be right back with more of the Dr. Linda Mintle Show and help you succeed in life right after this.
The other day I was cut off the road by a driver. Everything in me wanted to yell, "Hey, watch out." But I restrained myself, knowing that yelling at the driver would not do so much good, and it wasn't the best way to deal with my anger. Anger easily rises up in most of us. Anger, while a natural emotion, needs to be dealt with in the right way. The Bible tells us, "Be angry, but do not sin." So what is the biblical way to handle anger? Well, this is a question I answer in my short and easy book to read, Breaking Free from Anger and Unforgiveness. That small book has sold over 130,000 copies because of how practical and helpful it is to everyday living. So if you want to be angry but not sin, practice what Scripture teaches. Breaking Free from Anger and Unforgiveness is available on my website, drlindamintle.com, and online where books are sold.
And this is Dr. James Cribbs, pain physician and co-author of Living Beyond Pain. Psalm 13, 1 and 2 is often the cry of the person in pain. How long, Lord? Will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts and day after day have sorrow in my heart? The psalmist concludes that he is not forgotten and that his suffering matters to God. God will sustain him and God will sustain you.
Welcome back to the Dr. Linda Mintle Show. Just a reminder, you can follow Dr. Linda on her social media, X and Instagram, at Dr. Linda Mintle, Dr. Linda Mintle. And on Facebook, Dr. Linda Mintle, author and speaker. And we'd sure love for you to take us with you wherever you go by listening to our podcast. You can download that from myfaithradio.com or your favorite podcast platforms. Just search her name, Dr. Linda Mintle Podcast, or go to myfaithradio.com. Now, today we're talking about life skills that predict success better than your IQ. Now, that's good news for most of us.
Especially if you don't have a high one.
Right. Yeah, not everybody has my 180. I know. So we're on number 5, Linda, and this one is self-motivation. If you discipline yourself to do things that you know are good for you, life will be better. Establishing a routine can help with this, but also doing things because you know it will help you and other people, I think, is better because the motivation is different, right? For example, if you want a better spiritual life, then you know you should be self-motivated to spend more time in prayer and reading the Bible, those kind of spiritual disciplines.
Yeah, it's good for a lot of areas of life, especially our spiritual life, right? Here's the typical one. I know exercise is good for my health, right? If I get rid of all the excuses and I'm self-motivated to do it, I find something that motivates me to do that. So when you do something and you're actually successful at it, it has to have something intrinsic for you. Like you have to find, you're not doing it for other people or because there's, no reward or something. You're doing it because you feel good doing that. And when you're consistent with something, it predicts success. It enhances your performance levels in all parts of your life. So finding that intrinsic motivation is really key to this. Doing it for yourself, doing it because you know it's the right thing to do, doing it because you want to please God.
Right.
And you want to imitate Christ. That should be a great intrinsic motivation.
Well, and the good news is you can help other people at the same time.
That's right.
Right. Well, we've talked about resilience in the past, and it would probably be a mistake not to include this one on our list of important life skills. Failure isn't easy to handle. It's part of our life, but our ability to bounce back from failure, learn from our mistakes, is also a great predictor of success.
Yeah, so this is an interesting study that I found. So it showed that students who intentionally made mistakes and then corrected those mistakes learned better than any other method.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Well, it
like they
makes
intentionally made a mistake.
Right.
I just think that this is just such an interesting thing. So understanding that failure is not, like you said, it's not avoidable. It's not avoidable. We can't. We're going to break it and lose it at some point in our life, right? But it can be a powerful learning tool that leads to success. So if you can use failure to self-correct and try something new, I mean, that's what inventors do. It's what highly creative people do. That will really work.
Making mistakes is tied to problem solving for me. And I often tell our faculty, build into your, like in a film production, don't tell the students, but build in some colossal failure. The camera breaks or something happens. We don't want to break cameras, but and they have to learn on the spur of the moment
what to do.
Be creative, find solutions.
That's great.
And move forward. And that's huge learning. All right, our next life skill that predicts success better than IQ is competent decision making. Now, this one just seems too obvious to me.
Yeah, it does.
But you know what? I think it's a make or break. And it's a skill that we have to have. We have to be better at making decisions. Doesn't mean we're going to make a bad decision from time to time. And it's not going to lead to failure, but the better you make decisions, the better your life will be. I'm pretty sure that's obvious.
Yeah, I think, it's so important to make good decisions, and it's so important to ask for God's wisdom.
There you go.
When you're making good decisions. That's one thing I try to pray about. I always ask God, give me the wisdom to make this decision. And then a lot of times seeking godly counsel, asking people that are also wise and know you can be a great way to make a good decision. We've lived by those three things when it comes to decision making, Norm.
Right.
And, we've made some bad decisions because we didn't do those things. And maybe we were careless. Maybe we weren't taking the time to really pray about it. We were just reacting to things. But making good decisions is such an important skill in life.
Right. And sadly, when you make bad decisions, it can ruin your reputation at work. Your colleagues will probably lose trust in you. Your boss really will. But we have the best resource in the universe. Ask God for wisdom. He promised it in James 1:5, and he promised not to be stingy with it, to give it to us generously. So we need to use it. All right, we got another one for you. This one I think is on the decline in younger generations, but it's having good social skills. I think we'd agree that social media have challenged these skills, and excelling in social settings is learnable. I think you would tell us. We would need to cultivate and practice this vital skill because you can't get along with people or navigate conflict and difficulty in life if you struggle with social skills.
Yeah, if you don't know how to handle difficulty and difficult people, I mean, where are you going to live that you're never going to have a difficult person? Where's that going to happen in your life?
Antarctica.
Maybe. There's nobody there. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm
An
saying.
island by yourself.
Maybe,
That's the way you could do it, right? So you really do have to develop your social skills. And I hear this all the time when people are looking at job applicants. I want somebody who can work well and get along with other people. this is an important skill for physicians in the making.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we look for. The residency directors are looking for, I want a student who can get along with people, who can work with the team, who can, stay calm under pressure. Good social skills are very important also in any interpersonal relationship that you have,
true.
and your intimate relationship as well.
Right. And you know what? As I think about it, I think that this starts in kindergarten.
Yeah, it
When
does.
you're thrust into a classroom with a whole group of other little kids your age, and everybody's running around and having fun and going crazy. But those are lessons that we learn that continue with us through life. And the better we learn to socialize early, the better success we're going to have in all aspects of life, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so parents coach your kids early on, the way they're handling their interactions with other people. Okay, our next one.
Okay.
Our next one is consistency.
Right?
Now, this reminds me of parenting again.
Me too.
As
Oh,
soon as
yeah.
I said it, I'm thinking that is the thing that kids need that helps them so much. And it allows you to count on people. You know what to expect. It's a key building block to success in all parts of our life.
You and I, as parents, practiced this intentionally because we knew that what mom said, dad had to back up, and what dad said, so they couldn't run back and forth and say,
Right.
but mommy said, no,
Yeah.
no. This is what we've agreed on. And the good news is God's unchanging. God is consistent. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. We know that. And because of that, we can feel spiritually that God, our Father, provides us with safety and security. So must children understand that and feel that from their parents.
Yeah, that's what consistency does. It makes you feel like you're in a safe place because you can predict what's going to happen.
Here's another one, goal setting. It's good to set goals that align with your values. In fact, I would say it's imperative that you set goals that align with your values. It helps you stay organized, stay on point, keeps you from getting distracted. It's like setting a life vision statement. And whenever you're tempted to do something, you go back to your vision statement and say, am I aligned? Is this
Yeah,
consistent with where I want to
good.
go?
That's really good. And it certainly applies to our spiritual life. You and I have a goal of attending church each week. We know how important this is to get that kind of spiritual encouragement that we need, but it's also because of the community that we have going to church. And we're around people who uplift us and tell stories. Our Sunday school class, oh my gosh, there's so many God sightings, they
Right,
call them,
right.
and wonderful stories of how people have been encouraged during the week. And so because of that goal, I think it really makes a difference. We don't waver each week according to our feelings. And let's face it, some Sunday mornings we don't want to go.
Nope.
We would rather stay in bed, but we go, nope, it's too important. We got to go. We got to encourage ourselves. We got to get intimate with the Lord at this time.
That's a good one. Here's another one, absolutely vitally important to interpersonal communication, and that is listening,
Yes.
active listening.
Yes.
We could do an entire show on that. Maybe we should.
I think we did years ago.
Well, let's
We could pull
dig
that
it
one
up
up
and do it again.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that because the ability to truly listen is not hearing. There's a difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is the physical thing our ears do.
A lot of people today just don't feel heard. They don't feel like they have a voice.
That's true.
And as a result of that, if you look at people who get violent, a lot of times that's behind it. I'm not saying that's the only
No.
thing, but it leads to them feeling bad and resentful and burned out and stressed. We all want to feel like we're somehow understood, somehow validated. So really, really important.
Okay, here's one let's do quickly. Taking initiative, leading and looking for ways to meet needs rather than sitting back and just letting life happen to us.
Yeah. And as people of faith, we do this by moving in our calling and being led by the Spirit.
That's good.
We should be in tune with God's moving in our life and take action when God tells us to do so. Also, Norm, He can give us a lot of ideas, and you talk about it all the time. He can give us creativity. So taking action, moving forward, listening to the Spirit.
Well, I won't give you the whole speech, but here's the bottom line. God created because He is creativity. He's not just creative. And that God lives inside of us.
Yeah. So finally, what matters the most about being successful in life, where we're going to go. It's where we're going to end up in eternity, right? It means surrendering your life to God, focusing on things of eternal importance. It won't matter how much money we make. It won't matter how successful we are in the secular sense of things. It's going to matter what we do for Christ and how we've lived our life and what is eternal.
Right. No one has ever been on their deathbed and said, boy, I wish I'd spent more time in the office.
Yeah. So the life skills that predict success for us that are even more important than IQ, we've talked about them, but a life lived for God, Man's chief end is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. So pursue Him with your whole heart. Glorify Him in all you do. Abide in Him. That is going to be the most important life skill of all. Well, that's all the time we have today. Many thanks to my co-host Norm Mintel, who makes this show a conversation, to our technical producer Wanjing Pu, and our editor Katie Sims Wilson. From all of us here at Faith Radio, hey, we'll talk to you again next weekend. In the meantime, remember, we're doing life together, and it's better when you don't have to do it alone.
Doing life together.
Hey, thanks for listening to this conversation from the Dr. Linda Mintel Show. These conversations are available because of your support. Become a supporter now at myfaithradio.com. Please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes, and share it with friends so we can live life to the fullest, walk confidently, and find healing and hope.